Morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me as we take a look at your weekend forecast for September 20th through the 22nd. And weather pattern continues to be basically similar in that it's dry for the most part. However, a little bit more cloud cover than we've had lately. So that's the big change. And maybe a sprinkle, probably not, but maybe a little bit of rain. Very limited tomorrow. But basically what's going on here, we have kind of the remnants of a coastal system that developed and has been very slowly creeping up the coast. It dropped a lot of rain on eastern North Carolina in some spots, some unfortunately very kind of severe flooding in some spots, and then has sort of crept up the coast. It is dissipating, and it is mostly east of us. We'll take a look at radar and things like that to see it soon. But it's sort of swirling, not really moving. It'll keep the clouds in the area, although they won't. They'll come and go and maybe make a push towards some moisture making its way towards us tomorrow. Most of the models keep it east of us. I think it'll probably stay east of us, but I want to mention it because it does give us a slight chance for a shower really anytime during the day tomorrow, but probably most of us won't see, especially if you're west of the Greens, you probably won't see it. So, and other than that, we're precipitation free. Here's what you can kind of see. Here's the radar. Like I said, we'll zoom in on that. This system, you're like, well, that's not that far. Maybe that'll swing through this weekend. The pattern is still very, very slow moving. Eventually, we are going to get, the pattern is going to break down, it looks like, eventually towards the middle of next week, and we will get a front to move through, which should bring a pretty good chance of at least some showers. So we'll break kind of our rain-free streak. But currently, that doesn't look like it's going to happen. At least this weekend, really. Like I said, we could get a few sprinkles, particularly in eastern areas of southern Vermont. But even there, I don't think, we're talking a hundredth or two of rain. It's not really enough to even call rain, but just as a kind of an FYI. Here's that current situation. You can see that we are swirling some moisture around its way to our east. Like I said, as this system continues to kind of swirl, and eventually it's kind of doing a little bit of a loop and then sneaking out to sea the way that it's to our south and east, and it'll make its closest pass at us with maybe rotating in a couple of showers tomorrow. Probably would be the best chance. I don't think I'm tempted to just leave it out entirely, but given how dry we've been, I at least want to give there is a chance. I would not cancel any outdoor plans tomorrow. It's not going to be an amazingly nice day, and that there's going to be pretty cloudy tomorrow, but we could have a few peaks of sun as well today. More sun today, not much sun at all tomorrow, and then a little bit more sun on Sunday as well as the system starts to draw further to our south and east. But essentially, all 3 days have a decent amount of cloud cover, especially given what we've had lately, where there's been basically no clouds. So we're at least closer to kind of more active weather. Here's the reason for that. We continue to have this giant ridge, which is essentially a Rex block. We've talked about this a bunch lately, but we have low pressure or kind of a weak area of lower pressure at the mid and high altitudes, and a big ridge. This is that northward bend to the pressures to our north. And when you get high over low pressure, that's called the Rex block, and it often means that things are moving quite slowly. You've also got a bit of an omega block. It's a little tilted, but where you've got low pressure, then a high pressure system, and another low pressure system, kind of, and it looks a little bit like the Greek letter omega. Both of these, this pattern, when you look at this, you'd say, oh, that's a slow moving kind of blocked up pattern. That is what we are existing in currently. And so that's another reason why we are likely to see things move very slowly before finally this pattern is likely to break down and kind of move. The question is, what does it turn into after this? The models are there's a few different options, but basically dry probably through Tuesday next week. Certainly Monday will be dry. So let's take a quick look at that actual forecast. Today, mix of sun and clouds. It's pretty cloudy out there currently, but there could be some breaks. I'd say about 50-50. Temperatures in the low to mid 70s, depending on your elevation. But yeah, a pretty pleasant day for the most part. It has gotten a touch more humid over the last few, which has kept our evening temperatures up instead of the low 40s. We've had a lot of, at least at my house, we've had a lot of near 50-degree temperatures. That'll continue through the weekend. Like I said, a couple of sprinkles tomorrow. I would not change plans. You will probably see a little bit of sun tomorrow too, but more clouds than sun. Temperatures held back a little bit by the cloud cover. Again, low 50s as we keep the clouds for the most part overnight on Saturday. Sunday, more sun, not a full Sunday, but more sun, low 70s, nice day. The further west you are all 3 of these days, the more likely you are to see sun. So areas west of the Greens, more likely to see sun. Areas east of the Greens, more likely to see clouds. And these sprinkles are probably mostly confined to the areas east of the Green Mountains. And even there, it's, like I said, very light, very intermittent, and may not even happen. So that's sort of where things are at. Let's take a quick look at those highlights. Quiet weather continues with a small chance of showers on Saturday. Areas east of the Greens have a higher chance of showers, but again, still not real significant. Coastal storm to our southeast will send a good deal of cloud cover our way. Temperatures near normal, and the first part of next week also looks dry, maybe middle of the next week for next chance at rain. Doesn't look like, we'll have to just kind of wait and see. But yeah, so we're kind of in the pattern still, but the pattern does seem to be, we're starting to move the pattern a little bit in terms of what we think is going to happen as we go forward. Our weather, the stretch of dry weather is unlikely to last forever. It definitely won't last forever. So yeah, that's where things are at. I'm going to give a quick shout out to my patrons to help support what I do here at the West River Weather Guy. If you're interested in becoming a patron, there's a link in the description below that talks about that. Also, you should subscribe to my YouTube channel before. It doesn't cost you anything or anything. You just hit the subscribe button. Helps make sure you don't miss any of my videos. It's a good way to just keep track of what's going on. It also helps other people find my channel. So I appreciate that. I will be back on Monday with a look at your work week.